Let's talk about it, Alec.
Okay, what are we talking about?
What was last month?
July,
Are you lying to me?
Julian,
Ju-
Julian Smith.
It's
I
like
was just
this.
talking with a
This.
friend about Julian Smith recently. Do you remember
Uh,
him?
your friend?
No, I was talking with a friend about Julian Smith recently. Do you remember Julian Smith, the YouTuber?
I don't.
You don't like the jellyfish, like
Is
jellyfish,
that Jenna Marbles' boyfriend?
jellyfish. Is it?
Julian is the
No,
name of his boyfriend.
no, no. It's not Jenna Marbles' boyfriend. That would be weird.
I never knew Julian then.
Julian Smith. He did like all kinds of little songs and
Let's
stuff.
talk about our favorite things from the month of July. This is a
Okay,
monthly
let's do
series we
that.
do where we each bring three things to talk about to highlight over the month, things that we can't really talk about otherwise. Maybe
Yeah,
not things that we both. It's
they
not
just
like
don't.
movies we both watched. Usually we review.
Yeah,
So these are like individual things to bring up. It could be anything, pretty much.
yeah,
Pretty much.
pretty much.
So you want to start it off, or
Okay, I will get started. Summer Games Done Quick 2021
you love
was
speed
this.
runs?
I love the speed runs. I love watching speed runs. They're fun, full of cringe moments with the awkward, socially strange people that are attracted to speed runs.
These are your people.
Oftentimes, these are. I mean, I don't run games, but yeah, I guess for a lot, I guess they are kind of my people. Um, yeah, I mean, it was a great marathon. It was a lot of fun. They raised like over $3 million for Doctors Without
3
Borders.
million.
$3 million. Yep.
Wow.
Um, and yeah, it was a lot of fun. Some of the highlights. We're getting to watch the 007 Nightfire speed run with my dad because my dad used to play that game a lot, and he really enjoyed
Hmm.
it was a cool speed run of that game. I'm trying to think of some other really good ones I watched. There was a couple of good Halo ones, or at least one. I don't remember which Halo it was. Now that I'm thinking about it, I think it was two. Played Halo 2, and I thought that was pretty sweet. Um, Indie game speedruns are always enjoyable. There was just a lot of really good, solid content. Unfortunately, Pete he'd submitted a few games, but he didn't get selected on any of them, so it was unfortunate. Would have definitely liked to have seen Pete Dorr, as I like to mention, much like Rusty does in his own podcast, mentioning Pete Dorr.
Mm-hmm.
But we've had on the show.
We know him.
That's been great. We know Pete, and but yeah, because Pete is into speed running. Unfortunately, didn't not this time around. Hopefully next time in the winter. Yeah, I mean it was just super solid. I've gotten both my housemates into watching speed runs and with me during this period of time, and my parents both enjoy watching it as well. So
Wow,
yeah, yeah,
that's great.
yeah.
That's great. I want to talk about Ariana Grande.
Okay. What about her?
Are you an Ariana Grande fan?
Not especially. She's okay. I mean,
I
I
remember
don't really
you.
go out of my way to listen to her music.
I remember you used to have a crush on Ariana Grande.
I did.
I remember you mentioning that back when I never really listened to her. But I'm a big fan. Big fan. I have all her albums. I literally have just all of her albums in my car right now listening to them because I'm planning on doing like some sort of ranking of them on my channel sometime
Mm,
soon. Do a video on them,
mm,
and it's fun. She's like one of those artists where I can listen to any song, like even some of the songs I don't like as much. I'm fine with it. Going through six CDs basically is what I have in there, so it's fun. But I don't have a specific album because I've been watching six or listening to all of them. So,
oh. Like,
but
do you kind of put them all on shuffle, sort of,
yeah,
or do you?
well, on
Yeah.
my car since it's old, I have to do CDs, so I
Oh,
can't
okay.
shuffle completely. So it'll just play through all six. Like I have all
Yeah.
six CDs in
Oh,
there.
oh, you got a changer. Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, so it just
Yeah.
worked. That's the max amount I could fit, and that's all the CDs there are. So it worked out. So
Oh,
I've just been
that's pretty
listening
cool.
so I can try to remember for these albums
Yeah.
because sometimes they blend together. But yeah, mostly positive things to say about Ariana Grande. I'm a big fan.
Yeah. I
I
mean,
have a playlist that I would always listen to also with Ariana Grande songs.
Well, I remember I think in terms of that, it was way back in like 2014 or something like that. I remember I was specifically where I was working at the time. I had a friend who was like above me, and I was like, I basically explained, I was like, look, there's this thing I really want to watch on TV this morning, and so can I just go into work later and I'll work a little later? And he was like, yeah, what, it doesn't matter, whatever, sure. And it was just her on the Today Show. I
Oh
wanted to
wow,
I wanted to watch her performance on the Today Show.
big
It was
fan.
great. Yeah, I just don't really care all that much anymore. But it, I
Damn.
think she, I
Okay.
just, I won't not listen to her. I think she's very talented.
Because I think she's gotten better generally with like her first her first couple albums were like pretty good, and then she had like the breakout songs, which were like Break Free and
mm,
Problem with Iggy Azalea, like those ones that went super viral. But
yeah.
then after that, it got really good. Like Dangerous Woman's a really good album, and then Thank You Next is one of my favorite albums later.
Speaking of Pete Davidson, we talked about him earlier.
Pete David, there's a song called Pete
Yeah, I
Davidson
know it's weird.
on the I think that's the Sweetener album. But yeah, I want to do a video on him at some point, ranking them.
that you that you were saying. I was gonna do a video on Pete Davidson and Ariana Grande later.
Yeah,
Sometime.
I really don't care about the personal stuff.
Just the music, man. It's all about the
She's
music.
engaged with someone else now. Good
Is
job.
she? Oh,
Good work.
okay. Good work. Good job. You snagged yet another. Um, cool.
I have a problem caring at all about like celebrity breakup stuff. I'm like,
Oh yeah, it's yeah.
like, oh, it's so sad. Like she's probably so heartbroken. I'm like,
Do people really like care that much? Like, oh, it's so sad. Do they really?
definitely. Well, like any rabid fans of celebrities in general, I can't really relate to them anyway. But it's
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, if like I have trouble caring about breakups in general, but like with celebrity breakups, it's like I'm sure they'll be fine. I'm sure they'll be fine. Okay,
Yeah, they'll be
they'll
fine.
go
They're
their
rich and
way.
famous. They'll find someone. You know,
They'll find true love. They're fine.
someday. Yeah, like Kim and Kanye. They'll find true love again someday.
Kim
I'm
and
sure.
Kanye, even though Kim did post on Instagram a picture with Kanye recently in it,
I was gonna say.
boggles
I'm
the
pretty sure
mind.
there's. It's yeah. It boggles.
Maybe they could work it out.
I just don't care.
I don't
It's just
care.
whatever. Yeah, I don't care. Well,
Not
my
that
my
bad.
next thing is I'll talk about Mario Golf Star Rush.
Yes, along the same vein.
Are you?
And I said it's along the same similar vein to Ariana Grande.
Yes, it is. None of my other things are in any conjunction to Ariana Grande.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I just now thought about how my third thing you could probably spin it in there.
Ariana Grande had a
Anyway,
concert in Fortnite, if I'm not mistaken.
yes, just like a couple days ago, and I think I saw a tweet where somebody was like, "Can virtual Ariana Grande step on me?" or something.
What?
It was just a weird thing where it was like the character was like suspended in the virtual concert going on. I was like, this is have have we reached like is this jumping the shark officially for Fortnite? I don't know. I don't know. Maybe. I didn't think kids really even cared about Fortnite anymore. Maybe they
Really?
still do.
I think they do.
I don't know. They probably do. Isn't that what it's called? Is that what the new Mario Golf is called? Isn't it called Star Rush, Super Rush? What's it actually called? I've been playing it. I don't even know what it's called.
Super Rush. I don't know. I actually don't know now.
Because Mario Party is called Star Rush. That's what I'm like. So it's
Yes.
okay. It's Mario Golf Super Rush. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know why I would call it Star Rush, Super Rush. Star Rush seemed like it was terrible. That was a 3DS game. Did you know? This is another tangent, but did you know there were 3 Mario Party games on the 3DS?
Mario Party Star Rush.
Yeah,
Mario Party Top 100 mini games.
yeah.
And then,
Mario Party Island Tour.
oh, I vaguely remember that, but
They all suck.
how'd they mess it
Anyway,
up that much? I feel like
I don't know. I don't know why they did
I feel
that
like it could
either.
be so good on the handheld, but
Yeah, I don't
fair
know.
enough.
Yeah, they did a weird. Anyway, Mario Golf Super Rush.
Hmm.
Despite what Rusty and Ryan have both been kind of downplaying it and poo-pooing it on the podcast, I've really enjoyed my time quite a lot with it, and I feel like the reason why is because when I was playing it on vacation. On vacation where I was doing a lot of golfing in general, so I was already in the mood, and B, my nephew was enthralled. He really liked watching me play. I played around with him that he actually beat me on, even though I had been playing longer.
Sheesh.
It's gotten to that point. But then I destroyed him in the next round. Um, so
Saved.
just desserts. Um, yeah, it's a lot of fun. I really been having a great time. The story mode is like it's nothing to write home about. It's kind of maybe a little too text heavy for being what it is. But it's an enjoyable little game where you kind of have these stats you build up just by leveling up, just by doing things in the game. And the game is kind of teaching you sort of along the way like how to approach all the mechanics of the game. Unlike other Mario Golf games, you don't actually. This is something that I couldn't really wasn't really figuring out to begin with, but it became clear later on is that the way that you create spin on the ball is not based on where you hit it, which is where it normally is in all the earlier games I played, or at least in the N64 game which I'd played. You instead determine where the ball is going to go in the air by after you've done your first click. The meter rises up again, and there you can sort of determine, depending on if your character has better like spin abilities or not, you could actually make the ball do like weird like loop de loops and stuff in the air, you can make it go like up and then maybe down to the right and then back over to the left again. Even though I just did that backwards, it's kind of crazy what you can sort of pull off in terms of shots in the game.
Hmm.
Speed golf and all the rush sort of feature in the game, tons of fun. It just makes the game feel like it moves along much quicker. And the course design, sort of to match that, all of the courses are sort of built like at one world, pretty much. So it's like it feels like an actual golf course in the sense that like when you're shooting a ball towards a certain hole, all the other holes are around you. So you could theoretically go on the fairway of another hole and then shoot it back over. A really interesting, really fun game. The multiplayer is going to be where it shines. From what I understand, there's not really tons to do like alone after you finish the main player game, but they've already updated it like at least once or twice. I think they've added a new like at least a new character and maybe another two characters. They also added New Donk City as a new course in the game. So they're going to be updating that over time, probably I would guess for the next 6 months to a year,
Hmm.
periodically. So there's still plenty of reasons to play. I think New Donk City as a course idea sounds insane because like
Yeah.
that's weird. That's weird to bounce the ball off buildings and stuff. That's weird. Um, so I'm looking forward to experiencing that at some point. I haven't got a chance to play it, but a lot of fun. I've been having a great time with it. Honestly, it's been really fun.
So Rusty and Ryan, they should go play some golf IRL to get into the mood, and then play.
Maybe, or they should just maybe play it multiplayer more rather than just playing it by themselves and being like, yeah, the story mode's not really all that great, and just being like,
Is the
I'm not
story
into
mode
it.
is the story mode not all that great?
I mean, like I said, it's pretty. I mean, it's pretty basic. It's just like you're a little guy and you're trying to compete and to be up there with the best of the best with like your Mario's and your Donkey Kongs and like so you're like competing different tournaments and stuff, and basically you're going on your golf journey to get better, and in doing so you're then helping out all the different golf link courses and fixing all the problems, and the problems all then create a new sort of mechanic. So each level or each world has a new sort of mechanic that you have to consider. So the first after the starting area, the first one actually is like a kind of a weird, stupid like difficulty spike, which I felt like they probably should have waited till later in the game to do. But you have to worry about like the spin on your shot is like a really important in that area. and learning how to be get verticality out of your shots, as well as using like there are these areas in the second world where there's like cyclones and stuff. So having to use the cyclones, basically you have knowing where in your shot. So like, you know, to get the most out of the cyclone, it's kind of complicated, but so I mean, it's not the most interesting story ever, but I think just in teaching you the mechanics of the game, it's working fairly well. It's also not terribly long. I've maybe like put 6 or 7 hours into it, and I think I'm on the second to last world. So, yeah,
Fair enough.
I mean, it's not, yeah, like I said, it's not anything to write home about, but it's fun. It's serviceable. I'm not like not enjoying it. I'm having a good time with all the little goofy like paratroopers and stuff, kind of selling me new golf clubs, and little Toadette who's trying to be the very best. And yeah, it's great. Yeah, because like it's like you start the game and it's like you, Toadette, Charge and Chuck, and Boo are all like you're like the new golfers. So yeah,
Nice.
So that's kind of fun. They all have different characteristics, and it's goofy and fun.
All right, well, I've got a game of my own to talk about.
Oh,
You know what that game is? Any guesses? Nope. It's
no, not a clue.
Uno.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Really? I was literally just talking about Uno with
I
some
was just
friends
having
the
this
other
3-hour-long discussion about Uno the other day.
day.
Brilliant game.
No, it's really not, but it's fun.
It's yeah, but I've been having a lot of fun. First of all, I was playing Uno online a lot with my friend, one of my best friends. It was great. It's a fun time because it's stupid. We're like getting competitive about it.
You're getting competitive about Uno.
You got trash. Like the way we never played. My family and I never played Uno the way like technically the game says you should play it, like scoring wise. Like you're supposed to count up the points of everybody who lost, you know, and that's the score. We never played that way. So on like Uno Online, you get shafted sometimes where it's like you get draw two. Especially I'm doing 1v1 with my friend here. And so it all going to me. It's like skip, reverse, draw two, draw four, wild card is like the last card. So you end up with like 12 cards in the end. It's like, oh, you just got 175 points. First to 250 wins. And sometimes you just get shafted. And we had like an intense back and forth game that ended in me getting 1 point because she had a 1. She had 1 in the end. I'm like, wow, that seems fair. That seems right. And then the next game, 150 points. Like,
yeah.
But yeah, so we played that a lot. And then, but my family and I also played it the other day. We did an epic 1st to 10 challenge. Me and my brother and my mom. And I'm the winner, of course. Had to
epic 1st to 10.
Yeah, it was like 10 to 8 to 6 was the final score, I think. Clutched it out. My brother was ahead for so long, and I just like won the last 5 games. It was crazy. Good times.
I don't think I played Uno in like 20 years.
Uno is a wild game. You were just talking about the other day, though.
We brought it up. We were talking about board games and stuff and card games.
Uno is wild. It's like
and I brought it up, and because here's the thing: both my housemates, we're all in this house. We're all into designer board games. Particularly one of my housemates, Christopher, really into designer board games. Games like Uno are that's like a peasant game, pretty much. Right. You know, to people like.
Yeah. Sometimes you need a peasant game, though.
Sometimes you do.
It's like
it's true.
It's fun to play because there's only like the most minor of skill element to it. You know, most of it just comes down to what you end up with.
It's like war.
Like, do I use this card? Do I hold on to this, or do I switch colors? So there's a strategy, especially in the end game, where it's like, oh, I know they have blue, and they had to draw a card, so let me reverse it on them, so they draw a card again. There's like minor moments of strategy, but most of the time there's a lot of BS involved. I talk about that a lot in like card games and games that I play with my family when there's like levels of BS. I say, well, the more BS is introduced, the less I'm winning. The more it's just based on skill, I'm winning. So skill-based games is where I thrive.
Yeah.
When there's skill involved, I'll win. But the more BS you introduce, it's like, okay, Now it's more of a challenge for me because I have to battle the elements here.
You have to battle chance.
Yeah,
Chance is not on your side.
yeah,
Yeah,
but still, sometimes skill will just prevail, and it did the other night.
that's
It's
good. That's
beautiful.
good. I was gonna say like War. The game where
Game of
it's
War. I
the
always used
game
to
of
love playing that too.
even though that game is a complete 100% chance.
Yes.
It's literally like it's literally the same thing as flipping a coin.
But some of those games are so funny to play and like trash talk.
Yeah,
It's
this
like,
is
ooh,
gonna be.
got you, got you. Like, outplayed.
uh, get wrecked. uh,
Like just sometimes when Uno is just, especially in the 1v1 that I've been playing, my friend, it's like sometimes they'll just go so one sided so quickly, and it's like, wow,
mm.
you just got trashed. You just got dunked on,
You just
man.
got beat. Think I had you beat.
That was crazy. It was embarrassing. Yeah. Yeah. Uno,
That's great.
baby.
Uno.
Yeah.
Uno, dos, tres. All right. Speaking of games, though, again,
Mm.
so while I was on vacation, speaking of designer board games and the idea of board games, one of my housemate Christopher lent me a game that he and his family had already played through, and that is Unlock. I should say one of the volumes of Unlock, because there's Unlock is a virtual or a tabletop escape room game.
Mm-hmm.
Requires an app on your phone or tablet to play it.
Is that the one that I played? I don't know.
You may have played
like one of them.
You may have played Exit. Maybe that's another really popular one. I think Exit has more destruction elements to it, where it's like you literally are like breaking and ripping things. I think Exit has more of those, but Unlock is cool. There's tons of them. Basically, so the one we have, I don't remember what it's called. We played, but it comes with like 3 adventures, and they like increase in difficulty on each one, or 3 escapes, I guess you could say. So the one we played was like, I don't remember what it was called, but it was like it was one that took place in like an arcade kind of, or it was one that took place in a video game. So it was like the theme was like, it's like you're up in your uncle's like attic space. I was like, you start playing this video game, and then it's like, so it's basically you having to escape the video game in an hour time limit. So I was playing with my family. It was very hectic. According to Christopher, what he said later, he's like, he finds it to be best with maybe 3 or 4 people. We were playing with maybe like 8 people. Well, let me see. It was me, nephew, niece. I think there were 2 or 3 nieces involved. I don't remember if I think it was just 2 of my nieces and me and both my parents. So that was 7 people playing. So I think me, both my parents, and then my brother and sister. Okay, let's see. 2 nieces, nephew, myself, my parents, my brother, and sister-in-law. So it's 8 people playing. It's a lot of people playing. That probably was complicated it. So we didn't end up winning in terms of like we didn't finish before the hour's up. Thankfully, the game doesn't penalize you at all for not doing so. You can still finish it, which is nice. Most normal escape rooms, you literally have to leave. Yeah. They kick you out. So it was fun that the game still let you do it. And I think it actually ended up being, we actually did complete it in under an hour, but at least in the one we played, if you start entering in things wrong or guessing things wrong, it actually eliminates like time. So we actually would have done it under an hour. But we kept like just entering random things in to see what it would say, and then it turns out when we like flipped a card, it was like, oh, you got to press the strike button. I was like, okay, so we had to do that. We did that enough to accrue. I think it was like 3.5 minutes of time, and we only went over by like 2 minutes. So, yeah.
Escape rooms are such a fun concept, huh?
They're super fun. I felt like this is just everything about the joy of escape room that you can just do at home. I thought it was great. I had so much fun. We were going to do one of the other ones. The 3 in there was like, there was that game one, like the video game one, then there was a Sherlock Holmes one, and there was like an Alice in Wonderland theme one. And so we we're going to move on to the next one, but we didn't have time, unfortunately, before vacation was over. highly recommend it. Especially, I think it's even. I would maybe even argue that it's if you've never done an escape room, this is a good kind of gives you a good idea of what they can be very similar to what they're like. So
Mm.
yeah,
You know, an idea I've always had that I'm not sure if it's ever been implemented
what's that?
is that an escape building where you just
Like in a whole building.
a whole building you have to escape like multiple rooms to get out, and it's like
That sounds like
you got the whole place to yourself. It's like
that sounds like 999.
basically, yeah.
Yeah, or Virtue's Last Reward. You have to escape the whole structure.
And I mean, there was an escape room movie on Netflix that I watched that was like basically this concept, but the obviously like the horror uh, alternative to it, where it's like, oh shoot,
Yeah.
they're gonna kill us if we don't escape, that kind
I
of
think
thing.
there, I think there was a Virtue's Last or a 999 escape room, like a themed escape room. I think they did at one point.
Mhm.
It was like a
I,
one-time one
but
in
I just love that
California.
idea of making it an immersive experience, specifically like not having like eight have to do with like eight other families there. Ideally, like you just have this
Yeah,
whole building to yourself, and
that would be
instead you're
cool.
actually trying to escape. You have to get through all these multiple rooms, and it
That
gets
would
like
probably
harder. And
that'd probably be pretty expensive.
right, it would have to be like you have to reserve the whole
The whole
building.
building, which is probably be like that's like a grand. It's like that would be $150 per person, please.
Yeah,
So
that just
yeah,
sounds like it would be fun.
it would be very fun.
Yeah.
I think I like
Get a
that.
good
I like
crew
the
in
idea.
there.
Yeah, get a crew.
My last thing I want to talk. Last thing, right? Yeah, the last thing I want to talk about is Big Brother. Big
Ooh,
Brother. So this is a show I still want to show you at some point, but again, it's like another 23 seasons of a show. So
yeah, but the seasons are so much longer. I almost feel like that's
more
gonna be have to.
episodes.
I almost feel like that might have to be something that we do off Tarqaron and maybe talk about in like a review format way.
Yeah, I don't know.
Just because it's too much of a time commitment. I think
Yeah,
it's too much.
but the last few seasons were like not as great. They're like not well. There was like season 20 was really good, but then
Mm,
some of the other ones weren't so great. But this one has been really good so far. There's a lot of really competitive people because it's basically a strategy social experiment type game, very similar to Survivor.
hmm
But you know, there's a lot of good players in this season, which is always fun because there's more competition. And a lot of seasons will be like people who don't know what they're doing or never seen the show before, so they're just kind of fumbling their way through. And then you have a couple good super fans in there. But this one, there seems to be like a tier above in terms of competition, and it's a more diverse cast. CBS made an active thing that they implemented recently. There's always been a criticism both on like Survivor and Big Brother that there's not enough diversity. You know, even the most recent season of Survivor we watched on Vanuatu, you know, Rory is the one black guy there.
I was gonna say maybe people of color are not kind of considered,
Yeah,
but yeah,
which like
yeah,
they've dealt with that for a lot of seasons where it's like the number is just such a
yeah.
big disparity, but they have like initiative to have more diversity now. So now it's like a much higher percentage of people of color at least. So it's cool. It makes for more interesting, you know, dynamics because there was like especially in Big Brother there was one season which was really not good where like the minority were like the first three people voted out. It was like all the minorities, so it was not it didn't wasn't a good look. And it was like this
Get rid of the
it,
black guy
it was like
first.
this all white alliance. It was like the big alliance that ran the game.
Wow,
So it was not a good
nice.
look. It was because they had like there was the one point where they had the three minorities there. There was like a sort of battle back situation where they could get back into the game, and they had a picture of the alliance over here. They're like, "This is the alliance that was running the game or whatever." Forget the full context, but it's like you have the three minorities here, and then all the white people in this alliance. It was like people just took that screenshot and ran with it, like this is the problem here.
Here you got the whiteys over here, and
Just wasn't a good look. And then there's always been problems with Big Brother specifically because Big Brother has 24/7 live feeds, which is the thing
yeah,
that sets it apart. where
Yeah.
you can see everything, and also it's happening like live, like so. Survivor, everything's done, so the editors then take that and make it the product they want. But Big Brother, it's happening as they come, so they can't even like mold things around a winner because they don't even know who the winner is going to be yet.
Right.
But they'll edit people in certain ways so that like the people that watch the live feeds are like, well, it's not exactly accurate, because people will say like some racist remarks, and like that's like big headlines, but then like they'll make him out to be the perfect person on the show, like
It's like, oh, we can't have that on CBS.
yeah. But then like, they address it sometimes. But
Yeah.
so season 21 was a big problem with that, and then now we're at season 23, and it seems like it's complete 180. So it's fun, but it's fun competition all around. Fun season, good cast. Nice. So is that it? That's it for July.
That's it. That's July. Yeah. I wanted to mention, you were talking about, I wanted to mention the Olympics happened as well. I don't know if you were able to catch any of that.
Honorable mention to the Olympics.
Honorable mention, the
Just
Olympics.
Just below Uno.
Yeah.
In terms of
did you catch any of that?
I never watched, unfortunately.
Yeah. It was it was all right. There was some cool stuff, like BMX was there. That stuff was awesome. Obviously the natural, like track and field and triathlon, things like that were all interesting. Gymnastics. There's a lot of controversies and garbage going on. This Olympics was just fraught with, it was never going to succeed in terms of ratings, and in terms of the fact that no one in Japan wanted it to happen. And the fact that they couldn't have anybody in the stands cheering anyone on. It was just a kind of a nightmare.
What a beautiful time we exist in right now.
Yeah. Something like that.
We're all thriving.
We're all living our best lives, that's for sure. Yeah.
That's another thing with Big Brother too, is that usually when someone gets evicted, they would have a live eviction and they'd have a crowd and everything. Now they walk out silently to the hosts, and the host is like, social distance hug, air hug. They'll do that.
Ugh. That sounds cringe, man. I'm sorry. That's real bad.
This is like, we'll keep our distance here. Okay.
They should play crickets behind them as they're leaving, I think, rather than.
It's so funny because it used to be like roaring applause as soon as they come out, and the people would at least look forward to that when you open the door, because it's a little bit of humanity you see. But now it's just like dead silence. Walk over there, and then last season they all had to wear masks when they came out. Now they don't do that, at least, but it's still weird. It's still awkward. We're in that phase here. I will say even Survivor was not unaffected by that. It's not a spoiler or anything, but the
by COVID, you mean?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I bet.
Like they weren't able to do a reunion for the most recent season, so they read the votes over Zoom.
Oh, that's so awkward. Oh no, that's terrible. Was the reunion like via Zoom?
There was no reunion. There
was no reunion at all?
No reunion, yeah.
Oh, that's so horrible. They could have done like a Zoom cast where you can have like tons of people tuning in or whatever.
Yeah.
Could do something like that.
One of the bigger criticisms of the season is like people wished, and they were talking about how they were, we're gonna send out to all the castmates, we're gonna send like camera equipment and stuff and like a little set, but then nothing ever came of it. I guess it never came through. But it's like, wow. Even like podcasts I'm listening to, I'm like, yeah, well, we know from doing podcasts that there's a lot more you could do with even just using Zoom, but
yeah, really.
But they reduced it to just like, okay, we'll read the votes and then we'll say bye-bye.
Yeah. Well. Oh well.
All right. So that was July.
Yeah. It was July.
Hot month.
Yeah. It was very extremely rainy around me. Like every other day it was raining. I think I read something like there was a town, the capital of New Hampshire, got something like 84 inches of rain.
Oh.
It was something insane. It was something absolutely insane like that. It was like set a record.
Wow.
So
that's what July's all about, setting records, baby. All right, so come back next month. We'll talk
Hold
about
on,
August.
I just want to make sure that that number I just said sounds ridiculous.
That is a lot
80,
of inches.
85. Yeah.
It's a record, though. You said it's a record. It sounds like a record.
It is a record. So okay, 10.7 inches. How many did I say? I said like 80 something, didn't I?
84 inches.
Yeah, 84 inches. I mean, maybe I wasn't talking about the rain, if you know what I'm saying.
That's like.
That's like
6 feet.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine like so the way that it's often described is imagine inches of rain. That's feet of snow. Can you imagine 84 feet of snow?
It's almost 7 feet of rain. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's like a rainforest, basically.
That seems like hell. Man.
I mean, that's not rainforest in a month, I don't think, but that's a lot of still 10.7 inches is still a lot of rain for 1 month in New Hampshire.
Now I'm not impressed anymore because I was imagining 84 inches, and now you say 10 inches. I don't
even know where that number came from. I honestly, I think okay, so I think that actually maybe my guess is that might be like rainfall totals for like a year.
Sure. All right, do you have a question for me to round out this video?
Yes, Zach. Where should people go after they finish watching me look up nonsense about inches of rain?
Inches. Where do we have the most inches in our videos? To watch our review of Luca.
There it is. Okay. There it is.
Absolutely.
A lot of water in that movie.
There was water in that movie.
Yeah,
that's true. If you got 84 inches of rain, like you're outed instantly.
Look, man, I'm tired. All right, so we're talking about the 84 inches.
Just forget the 84 inches, man. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to our podcast feed. Like the video. Leave a comment. Hit the notification bell. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram, and like us on Facebook. Tarqaron. TWOK.